Sorry about that.
Oh, you got a good Zamboni back it
I'm hoping the tiny mic helps. I couldn't get my videographer out, so we're going with the high tech setup, as you can
All
tell.
good.
Just what have the facilities been like here? Because obviously the Kraken are semi new.
Yeah.
But everything I've heard from pros at the NHL level, the AHL guys that have come here, and a few teammates and the Montreal players, all good things.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate enough to be here a couple of years ago with the rivalry series with Canada-US, and I was blown away of the facilities. I mean, obviously this practice facility is pretty amazing, and then I mean, I've been able to play at Climate Pledge, and that is a phenomenal arena. I think we got to watch a Kraken game the night before, and I was blown away of how awesome the Jumbotron was and the atmosphere in there. So yeah, it's always a lot of fun here. I love this city. It's a lot of fun to come and play here, and it was awesome to see a whole bunch of fans here today too.
Obviously, I'm not expecting you to know the deep history of the city and intricacies, but what do you think makes Seattle such a great sports city? It's a really crowded sports city. There's a lot going on, but just seeing the turnout for the rivalry series game 2 years ago, and then just we do all the pro sports, so I see a lot of everything here. But from your perspective, that like what sticks out to you most? Is it just how the fans support? I don't know. What sticks out to you most about the fan base here?
It was interesting, like even walking around here before practice, like I noticed everyone either had a Mariners hat on, a Kraken hat on, or a Seahawks hat. I think they seem to be really immersed in their community, right? Like even walking around the city, everyone's just out and about, and and that's probably what it is. I think they just like to be involved in the city and in the community, and I mean, there's nothing cooler than pro sports, right? Or a team to rally behind, and I know that sports, especially in Boston too. Looking back at everyone gets behind every single sport in Boston, so it's a lot of fun to be a part of, right? So I think it seems like the people here just love to be a part of the community, and it's fun to see.
This is coming from obviously someone who's not a professional, but this is obviously there's a lot of circumstance, there's a lot of like showcase around this tour. But obviously, it's the regular season. Like this, it's my recording. This shit matters, right? How do you balance sort of appreciating what's going on here with the tours and the stops in different cities, but also we need to take care of business. You got to stack points. Obviously, you can correct me if I'm wrong. The Montreal games have been a little intense, right? So how do you manage that, or is it just we're taking it like regular season games, but there's just a little more pizzazz to it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's really cool to come to these different cities, right, and different facilities and play in different areas. But you're right. I think in the end, we just got to get points on this trip, right? We're on a really, really fun road trip here. It's a long trip, and we want to make sure we go home happy. And we have some unfinished business with these guys. I think they haven't played anybody else since us, and we've only had one other game. So I think it's still pretty fresh. I thought we had a really good battle the other night. I think we wanted to have a better finish to that game, and I think we'll start off a lot stronger this game coming up. And I mean, the playoff series also speaks for itself last year, I think, and they don't like us too much, and we don't like them too much. I mean, there's only 6 teams in this league. You're going to have rivalries, and every game is going to be a battle. And I respect a lot of players over there, and they have a really great team, but I think we do too, and we're going to have a really good battle, I think.
You talk about the 6 teams. Obviously, this is pro women's hockey isn't new, but this league is new. And, we're obviously now the league is looking to expand to 2 teams. They're looking at all these cities. How do you reflect on, last year where there's all the newness and the inaugural, but also now, okay, we're in the second year, we've got branding, and we're already looking to expand. Like, I don't know how much you look at it as a player, but is it nice to see that, this is growing and that, you're going to get more talented women in the league and, you're going to get better resources overall as a player, or do you not focus on that sort of thing and just how the league is expanding and dealing with progress?
Yeah, I mean, I think last year we the whole time we're just focused on building it, right? And, it was all new to everybody, the staff, the players, the league, I think. So we were just focused on how big it was and how to build it. And so now I think we can just more focus on the hockey part, right? I think, not that we weren't last year at all, but I do think that now we can just settle in, play hockey, and as players too, we know what to expect. We know how to play in bigger buildings. We know what the markets are, what to expect, and I think as a player, it makes a big difference, right? Going into year 2, you go on, if you're on the same team, you know each other, you don't have to start from scratch again. And I think that makes a big difference. And to be honest, I think you've seen it in the play, even watching, the other teams play, and as a fan, the hockey has been amazing. And as a player, it's really fun just to kind of get into a rhythm and just play hockey. And all the other kind of stuff is just bonus, right? And what a cool job we get to do. And, it's not bad at all. So I think it's just a bonus to be able to come to really cool cities like this and play in really cool rinks.
How do I put this? Jessica Campbell's obviously making some waves here in Seattle. What can you just say to maybe the impact that she's making as a professional here on the young women, but also kind of the momentum here? Because Jess, named an assistant coach, and then it felt kind of like a double boost of women's hockey, getting this game here. Can you just speak to, what she's doing to make those waves, but also maybe any reflection you have on maybe any moments you had with the younger fans, realizing, hey, I might be someone's story one day of I wanted to become a player, and it's because of you.
Yeah. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to play with Jessica Campbell growing up. We're the same age, so we played on the national team together for several years. We played against each other several years, so super proud of her. And when she stopped playing hockey herself and got into the coaching world, I knew that she was going to make a big impact. I mean, just the way she's always approached the game, I think. I've always admired it. She's always been a really good leader on every team that I've played on with her. So I think it kind of suits her personality to be where she is. And I mean, how cool is it to see her up behind the bench? And the guys respect her, and how couldn't you not, the way she approaches the game and her knowledge. So I mean, I think sometimes you take a step back and you look back and say, hey, how cool is it that I get to be a role model like this? And I was fortunate to have a lot of growing up, like the Jana Heffers, the Carolyn Millettes, and now there's just so many more, and we're more accessible, right? There's instead of the Olympics every 4 years or the World Championship once a year, it's almost every other night now. So I think it's a big deal. I think it's a big responsibility, something that I don't take lightly ever. And I think it's if I can make a little bit of a difference in a fan's life, maybe if I give her a puck or give her a high five, I think that's really cool. So super proud to be in this league and help grow it.
And maybe the hardest one. Say Seattle gets a team.
Yep.
Do you have any, with your knowledge of the city, do you have any name suggestions?
Well, I feel like you'd have to stick with the crack, with the sea. I think
Nautical.
Nautical theme. I mean, as a fleet, I feel like we're nautical, but I think you'd have to kind of stick with that theme. So I don't know. I mean, Kraken is that's a great name, so it's hard to beat. But I don't know.
But you'd stick with the nautical.
I'd stick nautical. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd stick that way. Yeah.